What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? If I sound a little hoarse or if I sound like Barry White, it's because I've got a cold. Some of you know that I've had some problems to deal with last week. My wife was in the hospital. Thank you for the prayers and well wishes. But you know what? It's so funny when well people go into a hospital, they end up catching a cold because it's like a petri dish and stuff in there. And so I've got a little bit of a cold. Been battling that for actually since Sunday. Started during the game. I kind of hit it a lot, but yeah, I kind of got sick myself. It was nothing compared to what she had to go through, but just being in a hospital environment is just crazy. So let me start out Thanksgiving Day week with me first, giving great thanks. One, thank God my wife is doing better. She's well. She's recovering. She's resting. Thank God for that. Prayers up. Everything works. Thank God, and thank you very much for all of you that tune in, whether you tune into my regular videos, whether you tune into to a Tuesday, whether you tune into the live shows. I thank you very, very much. You've helped make this channel what it is today and what it's going to be in the future. I've mentioned a few times I'm really going to begin broadening my content, really broadening. Some of it you may not like, some of it you may like, some of you may be interested in it, but it's going to be very, very, very broad. Not just Dolphins, not just going to stay in that little box, not just going to just talk about Miami Dolphins. I'm going to leave that to the other guys. I'm going to start talking about a lot more stuff, probably put in excess of, I'd say, 3 or 4 videos per day up. Going to be testing the water with some stuff. I obviously saw the video I put up earlier about Tom Brady. Just to let you guys know why, I'm looking to grow. There's some of these guys who've been doing this for 5, 6 years, and I see where they are, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do this for 5 or 6 years and be stuck in a box. I'm looking here. I'm looking at the big guys. I'm looking at Rich Eisen. I'm looking at, I know you hate him, Colin Cowherd. I'm looking at hundreds of thousands of views, not just sticking with Dolphin stuff. So come along for the ride. I hope you definitely enjoy. Let's see. We're going to go over some stats from the Raiders game first. Let's just want to point something out. Not going to harp on it. I don't want anybody accusing me of being a hater. I'm so over that stuff. I can't tell you how over that I am. But I just want to point something out. So I've got the stats up from the Raiders game. Let me see if I can split it here. Does it come in? Yeah, there we go. This is from the Raiders game. And I think you guys can see it. Got Miami over here on the right. Tua was 28 of 39 for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a sack for 2 yards. In addition, there was a fumble. Not by him, though, I don't think. So anyway, 28 of 39 for 325. What jumps out at you just looking at that? Well, number one, very efficient. 39 passes, 28 of them were complete, 1 interception, 2 TDs, very, very efficient. I mean, basically doing some round numbers, 40. If that was 40 and you had 28, that's about a 70% completion ratio. In addition to that, at 325 yards for 28 receptions, that's a little over, 10 yards per reception, or a little under 8 yards or so, 7 yards or so per target, per pass. Fine. Those numbers are absolutely fine. However, one of the things I want you to keep taking note of, it's a data point, not a stat as much as it's a data point. As I did a video, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I talked about what Dan Marino did in '84 when he threw for 50-something hundred yards, and he had Duper and Clayton. And both of those guys represented about 27% of the Miami Dolphins passing offense, meaning he spread the ball around. No one receiver was he focused on. He was throwing it to everybody. 26 and 27. That's not the case with Tua. And that's one of the reasons why when people say I hate on Tua, I'm looking long term. I'm looking not to the Jets, not looking to the Raiders, which incidentally turned out exactly as I said. What I said was if the Raiders could run Josh Jacobs 30 plus times, that would mean that it was working. They didn't. And I said the Dolphins would win if Josh Jacobs did not run 30 times. While we're on this page here, I can tell you, Josh Jacobs ran for 14 carries for 39 yards. They stopped the run completely, which means they had to rely on Aidan O'Connell. And in that point, in my mind, that's where the game was won, the defense. So back to this little stat point. Mark Clayton, 26-27% of Dan Marino's passes each. I want you to see something here. So you know right now that Tua threw 39 passes, 28 of them were complete. And then I want you to look at this number. 10 receptions by Tyreek, 11 targets, 146 yards. Fantastic game. But when you look at that number, 146 yards, that represents, I believe it was 44% of Tua's total. 44%. Well, that's fine. He's balling. Doesn't matter. It matters a lot. One of the things I keep saying to people is things change based upon personnel in their ability to execute against the Miami Dolphins. Don't need to go into it big time now, but I just want you to remember what I'm saying here is that 44% of the Miami Dolphins passing yards, in addition to over a third of his receptions. I mean, you can just look at it right here. It's 28 completions, and 10 of them went to Tyreek. That's almost a third. It's a lot more than what Marino was doing. What does that say to me? Well, it should say to you as well. If A, Tyreek goes down like he did, and you're going to have to spread the ball around, and B, good defenses, good playoff caliber defenses are not going to let that happen. If I can see it, and if you can see it, they can see it. Raiders don't have the personnel. The Jets could have the personnel, and that could be a problem, this week, Friday. But the Jets don't seem to have any offense whatsoever, so I don't believe they're going to be a threat whatsoever. But it may end up being a replication of the Raiders game where, it's going to be 45 degrees and windy, and so that may, tap into some problems in that regard by itself. But I just want you to know as you move forward, begin looking at that. Yeah, clap, applaud, be happy the team is winning, but understand what's down the road. I'm not interested in seeing the Dolphins go 12-5 or 11-6 or 13-4 and then get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. That doesn't work for me. There's nothing there. That's empty. That's an empty calorie as it is right there. If that's what you're looking for and you're happy with that, then that's fine. But you got to look forward. You have to know. You should have saw the game last night. The teams that you're going to have to run the gauntlet through come playoff times, they're not the Raiders. So people say, well, Barry's a win's a win. A win's a win now. Yeah, go ahead and applaud the wins now. Be happy. But just look at the personnel that's going to be facing the Dolphins later on in the season, and should they get to the playoffs and want to go deeper, every single game has a playoff caliber defense. So I'm charting this. I'm watching this as we go. I've been watching it. That's why I made a video on it. And I encourage you to begin watching it and understanding that it's not going to work against playoff caliber teams. That is something I'm trying to impart on people. I'm trying to raise the red flag. Nobody wants to hear it. But you're not. If everybody can see the data, if everyone knows that he's relying on Tyreek for 44%, If you're a defensive coordinator, put your DC hat on. Okay, so what do we got to do? Well, we got to make sure Tyreek's not available. Easier said than done, but for some of the teams, they do have the ability with the personnel to do that. What I've been screaming about and talking about for the last couple of weeks is, what are you going to do if they do that? Look at the drop-off on your screen right there. Tyreek, 10. Next one, 4. Jalen Waddle had 4 catches for 55 yards. Longest pass was 19. Robbie Chosen had 2 for 39. So once you get into that kind of situation where everybody in the stadium knows you're going to be looking at Tyreek, everybody knows it now. The problem is, for them, is they don't have the personnel to stop Tyreek. So what happens when you can't look to Tyreek in that situation? It's fun to look at the numbers and the great passing yards and everything else. I'm just going to let you know what to look for. Not going to jinx anybody, not going to be a hater. I'm just looking at a trend. I just told you I was just in the hospital with my wife. I'm looking at the chart, the echo thing, and the blood pressure, and all the numbers, the blink. And there's certain numbers that when it hits a certain number, blant, the thing starts beeping. Excuse me. Those of you who've been in the hospital, those of you who've gone to a doctor, those of you who have been tied up to EKGs or whatever, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everything is fine until it isn't. Everything is in a nice rhythm and going well until the alarms go off. Right now, I'm giving you data to look at and go, hey, everything's fine. Tyreek's going to get his 2,000 yards. He's in an MVP race with his own other teammate, Tua. They're doing great. And people aren't looking at this and going, there's a warning sign here, man. This isn't normal. Throwing to one receiver for 44 point something of your yards is not normal. The greatest quarterback in Dolphins history was 20% below that. Just think about that for a second. Marino with Duper and Clayton, he threw for a gazillion yards. The most he threw to those two guys was 26%. Tua is working on throwing double that to one receiver. So I'm looking at the Dolphins offense EKG and going, hey man, if I'm a defensive coordinator, what happens if I just shut this guy down? Well, Barry, they can't shut Tyreek down. Well, some of the teams you played so far can't. That's absolutely right. But Kansas City did. But Buffalo did. But the Philadelphia Eagles did. You see where I'm going here? So what happens when every single game the rest of the season, meaning the playoffs, you're going to be facing a team that has the capability to shut Tyreek down? Then what happens? And I don't see anybody talking about it, and it's glaring you in the face. It's staring you in the face every single game. And I don't know why. I mean, I can go through here for some of you guys that may want to see it. Let me just show you something. Let me go to let me pull up just to give you an idea here. I'm gonna pull up the Buffalo game, and even though Buffalo looks like a train wreck right now, let's talk about the actual defense that they ran against the to bottle up Tyreek. So here we go. This is the Buffalo game. Not sure if you've looked at it in this type of scrutiny. Excuse me. Here's Tua, 25 of 35, 282 yards and a touchdown. All right. Look at here. They shut him down. Ended up being a 28-point loss. And you're thinking, well, why was it a 28-point loss? Well, Waddle had the exact same amount of receptions that he did against the Raiders. Nothing. Am I back up? Excuse me. Nothing happened with Waddle. What happened with Tyreek? Got shut down. Completely shut down. And when you look at that, it should jump off the page. Wow, Tyreek only had 3 receptions. Yeah, only had 3 receptions. Excuse me while I take a cough drop so as not to cough in your ear for the next 45 minutes. And then let's go ahead and look at the next game. Next game I wanted to pull up was Philadelphia. Excuse me. Okay, so now we're going to look at Philadelphia. Just showing you what transpired. Here's Philadelphia. 2 of 3 for 216 yards. Very low, very low. Now let's look at the receiving. 11 receptions, only 88 yards. Didn't get any yards. Waddle, same thing. 4, 5, 6 receptions. Not working. You guys seeing a pattern here with really good defenses? One more. Let's look at Kansas City. And we can see basically the same thing happening right now. All right, let's go to the box score. Kansas City game. Tua, 21 of 34, 193. Wow, you might be saying, Barry, why is that so low? Well, that's because his number one target, who gets almost half of his yards, wasn't available. Let's take a look at that. 8 receptions for 62. So, when you're playing against a playoff level team, they've learned how to shut down Tyreek Hill. The other teams can't do it. They don't have the personnel. But they've shut down Tyreek Hill. So imagine what happens when every single game you play, when I'm talking about the playoffs, has to be against a team that has that caliber of talent. And so right now, it looks pretty easy. Tua's playing against teams that don't have that kind of personnel. They're completely overmatched, can't match Tyreek's speed, can't do anything with the jet motion. And then, boom, you run into a team that can stop him, and look what happens. Looking at the numbers straight up, they're right in my face. I look at them every single week, and I look to see what percentage of the receptions and completions and yardage is going specifically to Tyreek. In those 3 losses, defenses have shut Tyreek down, shut him down. This week's going to be very interesting to see if the Jets can shut him down. They won't win. I'm not saying at all they're going to win because the Jets are a dumpster fire. But it will be very interesting. Let me take a few comments. Let's talk about this. No, Jay, no fever. Thank God, no fever. just a cough. All right. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm looking at some of you guys. We win the next 3 easy. Yeah, probably win the next 3 easy if that's what excites you. If that's what excites you, you're absolutely right. We pull the schedule up here, and we see this, and boom. Well, let me get this out the way. You got the Jets, you got the Commanders, you got Tennessee. Yeah, you're going to win the next 3 easy. What does that tell you? 10-3 makes you happy. Don't you want to know what's going to happen in the future? I mean, to me, that's more important. I shot a good whiskey, some local honey in a squeeze bottle. I got the squeeze bottle 11. Yeah, well, maybe I'll try some whiskey afterwards. That's very good. But sorry, I'm trying to tough my way through this. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you start looking at the data, understand we're all going to clap. Oh, they're killing these guys. They've won 3 in a row. I'm just trying to get people to understand there's something down the tracks here, and it's coming at you. What's McDaniel going to do? I hope he's not going to wait until the playoffs and decide to do something. That's too late. I want to know why, and hopefully we'll see it during the Jets game, why you just don't make Tyreek secondary. Start now. Start saying, listen, we're going to focus on Jalen Waddle. We're going to start focusing on Robbie Chosen. We're going to start focusing on Craycraft and Berrios. And we're going to spread it around, begin spreading it around so people can get afraid. They're like, wait a minute, we got all these guys we got to cover? Yeah, you don't know who Tua is going to go for. You have no idea what Tua is going to do, so you got to prepare for it all. As of right now, I'm a defensive coordinator. I don't got to do that. You have shown me in 10 games thus far, I just need to shut down Tyreek. Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philadelphia shut down Tyreek. Thanks for the game plan. That's it. That literally is it. And people, notice I haven't said anything about Tua. I haven't said that, nothing negative. This is all just stuff that you can see. Yeah, I understand. It's like 49ers not throwing to Jerry Rice, but you know what? Jerry Rice, well, I'm not going to say it. If you're comparing Tyreek to Jerry Rice, that's a whole different problem. But do you remember who the other guy was opposite Jerry Rice? Do you remember what Taylor used to do? Do you remember the tight end, Dwight Clark? Come on, man. Who's the tight end for the Dolphins? Durham Smythe? He ain't Dwight Clark. I was in my fraternity house the year Dallas got spanked on a last-minute throw by Joe Montana to Dwight Clark. I thought the game was over, and he threw a touchdown pass to Dwight Clark, the tight end. We don't have one. So when you're talking about Jerry Rice and what went on in that game, that team, there was Taylor, there was Rice, there was Roger Craig coming out of the backfield, and there was Dwight Clark, another Hall of Famer. There was Hall of Famers all over the field. Jimbo, you're absolutely right. You're going to have to spread the ball around and use the run to set up those long balls. Absolutely. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Jerry was the main guy, but you're not listening to me. You're not focusing and understanding. I guarantee you right now, go back and look up the stats on those games. You're missing my point. I can guarantee you, I haven't looked. Maybe I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. I can guarantee you Joe Montana did not throw the ball to Jerry Rice 45% of the time. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If I don't know who you're going to throw to, it's harder to cover. If I know you're only going to look for Tyreek most of the time, it makes it easier. Clark was a wide receiver. No, I think that Dwight Clark was a big tight end. You might want to check that. I'm pretty sure he was a tight end. Pretty sure. What you say here? Confuse our O-line and you win. This is our weakness. Oh, so might as well talk a little bit about that injury. Salvin Ahmed goes on IR. Another running back down. Devon Achane, not sure what's going on with him, when and if he's coming back. So he's gone. Lyman didn't practice or weren't available. Should there have been a practice today? Yeah, Robert, how you doing? Montana dinked it a lot. And I'm saying, you said that Jerry Rice is comparable to Tyreek. I want you to go and look and see what was the percentage that Montana threw it to Jerry Rice. I almost guarantee you no coach would want it to be that heavy, 45, 44%. Oh, Brent Jones was the tight end. Russ Francis, first Super Bowl. Okay. What else we got? KC dropped Kelsey and beat our fish with that only move. Yep. Kiowa Islands. That's up in South Carolina. I know where that is. Beautiful, beautiful. Still like Hilton Head better. I really miss my cousin Gesicki. That's funny. Let's see here. I hear... All right, this is interesting. I hear a whole bunch of should've, could've, would've. We are 7-3 with winnable games ahead. Not all wins are going to be pretty. Just ask Vin Diesel. You've missed completely what I'm saying. I can't go back and replay all 30 minutes of that. You completely missed it. I said at the beginning, there are going to be some fans who don't give a shit, who see 7-3, who may see 10-3, and are just talking everywhere in the comments on my videos, on Twitter, on X. Oh, we're Super Bowl bound. And I'm saying, unless things change, you're being unrealistic. I'll be that person. It's not hating. I'm just saying at this point, In the 3 losses, notice I'm not saying none of this average team or below average team or winless team or losing teams that they're being beat. What I'm saying is, in the 3 losses, this is very important. In those 3 losses, Tyreek Hill was shut down by three of those defenses that could potentially be playoff caliber teams. None of the other ones so far are playoff caliber teams. They were able to shut Tyreek down. There's enough of a sample there that you should be able to look at with just completely open eyes and go, there's something here. Barry's pointing something out, letting you know there's a problem here. Yeah, like I said, Dolphins could be 10-3. They could be, by the time they get into the playoffs, they could be 13-4. Could have an amazing record. And then Mike McDaniel is going to have to change some things really quick. So that's pretty much it. And I won't keep going on it. Some of you guys don't want to accept it. That's fine. You'll see. I don't even have a doubt about it. That's how confident I am. Not that they're going to lose. I don't have any doubt that playoff caliber teams know how to shut Tyreek Hill down. No doubt. I've seen 3 teams do it so far, all of them with playoff caliber defenses. Other people don't want to see it. I said it in one of my videos after the Kansas City loss. Like, oh, they'll beat the Raiders and everybody will forget about what happened in England, Germany. And I knew it. Oh, he threw for 300. We had 400 yards of offense, blah, 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 blah. That don't win trophies. That doesn't get you to Disney World at the end of the season. What gets you at Disney World is you got to win your last game. That's all I care about. I've been through this too much. I talked to somebody on Twitter yesterday. I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, and I don't care about wins in September. I don't care about wins in October. If you're not in the Natty, if you're not looking to win a national championship, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. The Red Sox hadn't won a World Series in 100 years before they won it again in 86, 88, whatever it was. 100 years. In that 100 years, same thing with Notre Dame. Lots of Hall of Famers. Lots of records were set. Lots of wins, big wins. No national championships. All right, so I see Sam Hartman playing this year. I'm like, oh, he's great. He's doing this. He's going to do that. And then they lose. Red Sox, great pitching, great hitting, but they don't get into the playoffs. Doesn't matter. I don't know. And to me, the Dolphins are the same way. 50 years since the last Super Bowl win. Actually, 51 at this point. Playoffs don't excite me. I want to see you go deep. You're a team that's built to go deep in the playoffs. At this point, my satisfaction isn't on beating Denver 70-20. It isn't on beating the Raiders. It's about getting into the playoffs, winning a couple, and then hopefully going to the big game. That's all I'm looking at. And I'm sorry if I seem jaded, but none of this shit matters. Anyway. I've been in Fenway many a times. You want to know something really funny? My wife didn't know it when I met her. We're into our courtship and dating and everything, and then we get married. And I go into the house, I turn on the TV, and she goes, "What's this?" I said, "It's a Red Sox game." She goes, "You're a Red Sox fan?" I'm like, "Yeah, you too?" "No, I'm a Yankees fan." I went, "Oh my God, I got to divorce her. That's it." Okay, that's it. I got to divorce her. No, she is a diehard Yankee fan. So you know that there's been many Octobers in this household or wherever we live that we just love to see that. Now, the Raiders weren't going to beat anything. Damian Daniels says top 5 quarterbacks in yards so far are on average teams, including Tua. Yeah, I don't care about yardage though. You know. Now here's we could have beat Kansas City if Tyreek had played better. Well, you can say the same thing about them. They could have won bigger if their wide receivers were somehow competent enough to catch more of Mahomes' passes. You can't say would have, could have, should have. Philadelphia, the penalties, we could have, we could. Bottom line is, back to what I said, let me just get back to it. Those teams shut down Tyreek. There's no excuse, there's no definition, there's no debate. 3 teams that the Dolphins lost to have shut Tyreek down. Period. End of story. It can't be debated, and I think that pisses people off because when I say it, I'm not talking about the other 7. In those 3, Tyreek Hill was shut down. That's enough of a data set for you to be able to look at and go, there is something we have to look forward to. Well, not look forward to, but keep an eye on. So, let me move past that and go to the next thing. What do I have here? Looking forward to the Jets game. Weather is supposed to be 45 and 9 or 10 mile an hour wind, which ordinarily might be a problem, but after watching the Jets play and having to get rid of Zach Wilson and then having to bring in this new guy, Tom Boyle, who might just be Zach Wilson reincarnated, I don't see there any possible way that the Jets could win this game unless the only possible way the Jets can beat the Dolphins, one way, and you guys all know it, turnovers. If Tua throws a windy interception and they run it back, if they fumble or something, and because it's cold, and mistakes are going to be the only way the Jets even have a chance. I think. Do you guys agree? I mean, what do you say? Renzo says, Renzo, how you doing? I very love that you're honest and call it like it is. That said, with the defense is becoming a factor, we should be able to compete with anyone. Remember, we shut down the Chiefs and say, don't get me wrong. I didn't say the Dolphins can't win. Didn't say that whatsoever. You could rewind it. I didn't say they can't win. You're absolutely right. Defense is starting to play magnificent. What I'm saying is, if the offense can't push with the defense, that could be problematic. I don't think they're out of any game. I don't think there's any team on the rest of the schedule. I don't think there's any team in the playoffs that they're not competitive with. Don't get me wrong. I think every game that they line up with, they can definitely win the game. I'm just saying I haven't seen thus far. What do you do different if you can't throw to Tyreek? That's all I'm saying about that. Let's see. Terry Cohen says, I think we are too predictable. Yeah, I just showed you. If you are throwing to one guy 45% of the time, that's really predictable. Really predictable. Now, did I forget to put this in? I hope I can put this in and not cause any problems. Let me see it here. I'm looking for a video that I downloaded today. I don't see it. Okay, here it is. I'm going to play a video for you talking about predictability. I should have been ready for this. So in this predictable question, it's very interesting. There was a play run. Emmanuel Acho talked about the play. And I want to show it to you. I want you to look at this play and talk about how the predictability can be overcome, because it's a masterful play if it works, and it worked. Let me just pull it up here. Oh, you know what? While I'm doing that, I want some comments on this. So what do y'all think? Y'all up for the braids or not for the braids? Quick question. Quick. Give me your feedback here. You with the braids or down with the braids or not? I'd be very interested to know what people think about the braids. Let me see what here. I don't see anybody responding about the braids, man. The braids. So I guess y'all don't care about the braids. Okay, no problem. And Robert Rober says he looks good to me. He looks hip. Rez says no. I don't like the braids. I don't mind the braids. He's Samoan, Islander. I don't mind the braids. I hated seeing him out at the giving away turkeys in a do-rag. That just bothered me. That just I didn't like that. Hey man, I don't mind your braids. You're a good-looking guy. Wear the braids. Joseph says I hate them. Robert Jarvis says Tua's hair is with the time. Yeah, like I said, I don't mind the braids. I'm not a big fan of them. Not that I'm gonna grow any anytime soon, but I just don't like the do-rag. The do-rag looked like too hoodie for me. I don't mind the picture there. I mean, he's like I said, he's a good-looking guy. He can get away with it. But enough with the do-rag. So I want to play this video for you, and this was Emmanuel Acho breaking down a touchdown that the Dolphins had against the Raiders. Talking about predictability, here's something that was completely new and unpredictable, and it worked big time. But I'm going to show you something that Emmanuel Acho doesn't cover. So let's take a look here.
Take your seats, another team meeting. This was my favorite play of the weekend. Of the more than 1,200 football plays that were run, this is my favorite one. First, I'm going to show you the play. Then I'm going to break down exactly how it happens. Walk-in touchdown. How the hell does that happen in football? Here's how. Now, first, the amount of preparation that goes into a week of practice is out of this world. This play would only work versus man coverage. Raiders, 3rd and 8. The Dolphins know they're going to be in man. So it works versus man coverage. You're going to blitz the safety, blitz the linebacker up the A-gap. But on top of that, the Raiders really got the Dolphins beat because this linebacker is going to peel the running back. Peeling the running back means if the running back enters into the wide receiving formation as a receiver, hey, make sure you guard him. So the Raiders said, check. Dolphins, it's your move. Dolphins got them boys in checkmate because not only did the running back run an angle route, which is hard to cover, particularly for an outside linebacker on the end of the line of scrimmage, but then the Dolphins bring the center after he snaps the ball to peel back and block this linebacker, walk-in touchdown. But here's why I want to run it back. The Dolphins were only going to one player on this play. And how do we know this? Because he's...
All right, so that's something he brought up. And it looks very genius, but now I'm a defensive coordinator. And he just said he was only going to one player, one option on this play, i.e. the one read. That's it. That was his only option. If it didn't show up, he was probably going to throw the ball away because none of the other guys are looking for the option to catch the pass. So just continue with this.
Just running a love of the game route. He's just running a love of the game route. This receiver's already blocking down the field.
So this receiver's already blocking down the field. A lot of people have said, well, you can't do that. They got away with it. But let's continue.
This is brilliant by Mike McDaniel. I've never seen a play like this at the NFL level. I saw it in college last week. Lineman's going to snap the ball, come back and pull. You don't get walk-in touchdowns in the NFL by happenstance. You get them by preparation. You get them by dedication. You get them by execution. Dolphins offense with this play, brilliant.
All right, so I'm going to rewind this, and I want you to see something. Again, all the people who talk about Tua being a one-read quarterback, something happened on this play that I can't believe Acho would have missed it. He just didn't find it important because of what was going on with the rest of the play. But I want to show you something. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to fast forward. There's the snap. Here we go. I'm waiting for him to play. All right. Let me play.
First, I'm going to show you the play.
All right, there's the snap. Tua's got the ball. Down here, Ahmed's still in the backfield coming out.
Then I'm going to break down.
All right, see, Ahmed's making his move right there at the 25. I want you to notice something. The ball is in the air right there. Tua threw that ball expecting Ahmed to be in that spot. There was no way he could have known where Ahmed was going to be. That defender is outside shoulder, but he still could have crossed over. He sees Connor Williams coming in to block him, but at that point where the ball left his hands, he'd already predetermined where he was going to throw it. That was it. I mean, I'll play it slowly. I don't know if I can play it slowly, but you can see it yourself. Here comes the snap.
First, I'm going to show you the play.
Boom, to his back. Ahmed's still coming out to the right there.
Then I'm going to break down.
And the ball's gone. Right there, the ball is gone. You can look at this right now and tell me, is Ahmed open, or did Tua have a predetermined spot by Mike McDaniel where to throw that ball? Because he's not open. You can look right there. The dude's not open. There is a defender standing literally 2 yards away from him. And he throws it to the inside, to the right of the defender, assuming the guy was going to be there. Watch.
Exactly.
And then he takes a step in. The ball's already there. At that point, when he took that step, that ball was already there. And then, of course, boom, it's over. It's absolutely over. So again, I'm putting my defensive coordinator hat on, and I look at this play. Excuse me. And I begin looking at things and going, now we've got enough data. Again, Tua is merely throwing to where he expects the receiver to be. Doesn't matter if he's open. Doesn't matter if something happens, the guy falls down. I'm throwing it right there in this window. I don't care what happens. That's where I'm throwing, because that's where he is supposed to be. He's supposed to show up there to catch the ball. When it works, it works. When it works, it's a touchdown.
It happens. Walking touchdown. How the hell does that happen in football? Here's how. Now, first,
when it works,
first I'm going to show you the play. Then I'm going to break down exactly
I will show you again.
It happened. First, I'm going to play play of the weekend, of the more than.
Here it is. Look at it again. In case you didn't realize what I was saying about it being predetermined.
1,200 football plays that were run. This is my favorite one. First, I'm going to show you the play. Then I'm going to
snap. He's right there. You can see Ahmed's not even in position yet.
Break down.
That ball's gone. Is in the air. Mike McDaniel is running a high-performance precision game. And I know as a defensive coordinator right now, I get it. They're not waiting for these guys to get open. Tyreek, anybody else, Ahmed, the halfbacks, they're not waiting for them to get open. I need to define and take away the spots that he's trying to throw to. You can look at that ball's in the air. The ball is in the air right there. I mean, there's basically no way you can't see that. Connor Williams is coming down for the block. Some people said he was downfield. Nope, that blue line is the line of scrimmage, so he's right where he's supposed to be. Perfectly designed play. Mike McDaniel came up with a newfound, wrangle here. It's perfectly run, but it reinforces what everyone has been saying. Tua is not throwing to a receiver. He's throwing, to a spot where he expects the receiver. It works. Don't knock it. It works until it doesn't. And that's what I want to see Mike McDaniel change. I want to see him change where what happens when you got personnel who are looking at this and going, I'm just going to keep my eyes on this guy's hips, and when he cuts in, I'm just going to be on his inside unless he goes outside, because the ball's already in the air. It's already gone out of his hands. Those are the kind of details that I look at. Doesn't mean anything in regards to Tua not being a good quarterback. People get pissed off because you point things out, but you have to know what you're looking for. Some of you guys don't care. Hey, it was a touchdown, no big deal. Okay, great. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. No one's ever going to catch on. Nobody is even going to look at what's going on a defense, because it's so masterful that Mike McDaniel is fooling everybody. Well, I see it. You see it. It's not going to fool everybody. That's my concern as a fan looking at this stuff, understanding the game of football, is that, yeah, you're getting the ball away with 2 seconds, 2.2, 2.3 seconds after the ball is snapped. Then you're throwing to a spot on the field that you hope the receiver is going to be there. And when he's not, that's where problems happen. We saw the game in Kansas City where Cedric Wilson was nowhere near it, and they said it was a miscommunication. It's not a miscommunication. Don't listen to that shit. He threw to the spot where he thought he was going to be. He wasn't there, and it looked like a horrible pass because, hey, he's going to be there. I'm not going to wait till he breaks off his route. I'm tossing it. Oops, he didn't break out. He broke the other way. River Craycraft on one of the, it was either Craycraft or Barrios, was open for a touchdown in the Raiders game. Never even looked at him. Never looked and saw his second person out there. These are the things that I'm not a hater. I just know how to look at film. And when I look at film, I just go, man, you think that's going to work against some of the better teams in the league? You know, that's why I'm just being reserved. But Barry, they're 7-3. I understand that. But the 3 games that they lost, Tyreek was shut down. So that's what I try to bring to you guys. So let me take a few comments. Yeah, that's exactly. That's why you bump the receivers to throw off the timing. That's going to happen a lot. Run. Jimbo, you're absolutely got to run the ball. Have to. I mean, you got to. God, don't even get me started on the 4th and 1 bullshit. 4th and 1, and you throw the 4th and 1 from what, the 5-yard line, and you throw a pass. I wish the McDaniels would get rid of the pitch to the running back play. It rarely works. Hate it. Yeah. Barry alluding back to what? Barry, that was the question when McDaniel said he wanted to push the podium over. I know. It pisses him off. It pisses him off, and then the reporters don't come back to it. The reporters don't, hey man, I can't get my credentials pulled. I can't get my, I saw how pissed off he was. He goes, I feel like pushing this damn podium over. Oh, hey, I get it. You're pissed off. We won't ask that anymore. We won't ask that. Guys upstairs in the booth who are watching film like this, they're watching. They're asking it. Jermaine, I see you've posted this a couple of times. They still had over 400 yards of total offense. So I'm just going to ask you this once. So, what's your point? 400 yards of total offense doesn't get you a trophy. Doesn't mean you're going to win the last game of your season. You had 400 yards of total offense. I've explained this for an hour in regards to what's going to happen the rest of the year. You're stuck on the fact that, oh man, we did a whole bunch of yards. We got a shitload of yards. We was balling out. And I'm like, that's fantastic. What happened to Kansas City, Buffalo, and Philadelphia? I understand as a fan, it's like, what the hell is this guy Barry talking about? We got 400 yards. We're 7-3. 7-3 doesn't mean dick to me. I'm sorry. If you're not bringing home a trophy, conference championship, Super Bowl, 2 trophies. Don't care about the wild card. Don't care about first round. Conference championship or Super Bowl. Are people going to, let's just play devil's advocate. Let's say that they get into the first round, they get knocked out in the first round. Are you satisfied? Is that your goal, just to win a single playoff game? Not win a championship, not get in a Super Bowl, just to win a game. If that's what the standard is for Miami Dolphins fans, thank you. Then I'll know, and try not to get too deep into the weeds with analyzing plays, and I'll just stay back and go, 400 yards offense, scored 70 points against Buffalo. This team is just rocking. This team is just, it's the bee's knees. There's nobody who's going to stop. I can be that guy. Actually, I can't. I can't lie to myself. I would rather cover transgender kids getting kicked out of matches than cover and not be truthful. I can't not be truthful. There are plenty of guys out there who will only cover one side of the things. I have to cover both. 400 yards of offense, fantastic. Worked very well against the Raiders. Fantastic. Will it work against the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Bills again, the Jets twice, into the playoffs against playoff caliber teams? That's what I want to know. I've invested time and money following this team, and I think I've earned the right to be honest instead of just being a fanboy. We know they weren't able to score more than 20 points. They had 3 turnovers. Again, I don't understand what your point is. Aqua therapy works awesome. Yeah, I'll try that too. Tua is healthy. That means the plan is working. Okay. Let's see here where we go here. Hurts won last night. Bingo. Hurts won last night with 150 yards. Does that mean he's not playing well because he only had 150 yards? Or did his team not need him to throw 40 times and get 400 yards offense because he was playing the Super Bowl champs? I mean, I don't know why people look so much on stats instead of where things are. It is something. 150 yards, he beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost because the guy, what was the guy's name? Spalding, whatever his name is, dropped up a 60-yard bomb from Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes didn't say, I lost because my receiver dropped the ball. He goes, I could have thrown it better. I don't know how you could have thrown a 60-yard dime any better, but you lost. And those guys, people are picking them to be right back in the Super Bowl. I mean, there's been some reporters lately. I don't believe it. I mean, I heard what they said, but I don't believe it. But they're saying, this Dolphins team is, I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm saying. Hey, Captain Swell. Mike McDaniel likes the stat pad, so 400 yards of offense is fool's gold. That's how I feel as well. So I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer because I got something to show you about the Cowboys, and then I want to talk to you about something else. All right, so let me show you this thing about the Cowboys. This was very interesting to me because a lot of people have been talking about this, and I'd like to get your opinion about this. Okay, here we go. Micah Parsons takes shot at Tua. This is today, 21st, today at 10:17 this morning. Tua is not doing the work compared to Tyreek Hill. Hill was the first player in the Super Bowl era to top 1,200 receiving yards within his team's first game. And he goes on to say in the article, they keep giving these awards to rushers and quarterbacks. Let's expand on this. Give it to players that actually deserve these MVPs, is what he said. And he goes, Tyreek should be up for MVP, yet Tua is up for MVP. He says that's absurd. Tyreek Hill, what he's doing after the catch is unbelievable. I seen a picture of 5 people around this man. He outran everybody. Tua's not doing that work. Tua's not doing that work. When you have other players in the league going, this guy Tyreek, he's badass, and he should be the MVP. I think he should be the MVP. But now I can't even believe that Micah Parsons would come out and say something like that. Players usually don't talk that way about other players. Players are usually more reserved in their comments. Not to say somebody's not doing the work. He actually said the words, Tua isn't doing the work. They have it in quotes here. Where is it? Tua's not doing that work compared to Tyreek Hill. I seldom see a player come out in a news situation and say that this guy, this quarterback, ain't it. He's not doing the work. The only reason why he's getting these yards is because Tyreek is fantastic. Because Tyreek can take a quick slant like he did against the Raiders and just evade 4 or 5 people. Yes, Tua has to get him the ball. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. But he's pointing out that Tua isn't doing the work. Let me ask you a question. Micah Parsons is an all-pro linebacker, defensive end, whatever you want to call him. I think, personally, that Tua is doing the work. You might be surprised that I said that. I believe Tua is doing the work. I also believe he's doing the work that Mike McDaniel has instructed him to do. Tua, when we run this play, you're throwing this to Tyreek or you're throwing it to this spot, XYZ. I would almost venture to say that there's some sort of arrangement with them where he has told Tua, I'm going to make sure you're okay. I'm going to make sure you're healthy. We're going to get the ball out of your hands in under 2 seconds. Don't run. Throw it in the dirt if it's not open. Do whatever you have to do. Don't change. I'm going to script these plays. We are going to practice these plays so that it can be just burned in your mind what you're going to do. When Tyreek comes around, he does this wheel route, you know where you're going if this guy is doing this or that. Just throw it to where I told you and how I've designed it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. He has taken Tua's skill set and he has pretty much said, I can make this quarterback work in this offense because I'm going to basically nurture him and get him to throw where I need him to throw and nowhere else. Other players don't say this unless they've heard something or know something. I challenge you, if you think I'm lying, I challenge you to go and find another player saying something like that about a future opponent, that he's not doing the work. Think about how much film Micah Parsons has watched, how much film the coaches have watched. Did the coaches tell him that? Did other players tell him that? Remember, there's somebody on the Cowboys who used to play for the Miami Dolphins this year. Who told Micah Parsons what's going on with this offense? Again, think. There's no way he comes out in public and says this. Tua isn't doing the work. And, I mean, in public, he didn't say off the record. Yeah, you can say it. Tua's not doing the work. We already know what he's doing. To me, I was stunned. I read that and I was absolutely stunned that that would come from another player and a future opponent. Marshall, it only sounds absurd when you don't understand football. Nobody else is going to tell you this because, like you just said, it sounds absurd because you haven't heard this before and you probably have never strapped on a helmet. You don't talk about your future opponent that way. Michael Parsons lost his marbles. Oh, that's possible. That's possible. If you ain't working, if Tyreek, what's to say? If Tyreek the MVP candidate, Dolphins would have won Eagles and Chiefs, except for the fact of what I said earlier. The defenses have learned to shut him down. That's why I wanted to close with that, because at this point the focus. They play the Cowboys in a couple weeks, and the focus from their MVP All-Pro linebacker edge rusher isn't on Tua. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. He didn't say, man, we're worried about Tua. We're really concerned how we're going to stop Tua. Tua ain't doing the work, man. It's all Tyreek. Whoa. Sound absurd? He said it. I know when players used to go up against Tom Brady's going to dice us up. We got to figure out a way to stop Tom Brady. We got to figure out a way how we can stop Tom Brady, blah, 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 blah. We've got to take this away from Tom Brady. You don't hear that about Tua. You don't hear defensive players from other teams saying, we have to stop Tua. They say, we have to stop Tyreek. They already know what's going to happen. They've seen it with Buffalo, Philadelphia, and Kansas City. Fans don't like to hear this. That's not negative on Tua. That's what Mike McDaniel's system has been designed to. Make it completely efficient, 2.5 seconds, get rid of the ball, and get that ball to Tyreek. That's it. That's his system. And he's doing a great job with it. All I'm saying to you, and guys, don't get pissed off. I'm just telling you what other people are saying and showing you and telling you why, and then giving you the opportunity to go, okay, Barry, we're going to show you next week. We're going to show you that the Jets aren't going to be able to shut down Tyreek. Okay, we'll see it. We'll see it very quickly if this guy Sauce Gardner and some of these guys can stop Tyreek. You're going to see what other teams with good defenses can do. Jets suck on offense, so it's not going to be a game. But you are going to see what good defenses can do with Tyreek. They're not worried about Tua. Doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Fantastic. Getting the ball out fast, getting it into the hands of his playmakers. Absolutely fantastic. But Tyreek is the guy people are worried about. Tua throws more dimes than any quarterback in the league, if you want to go ahead and define dimes. Because, again, I'll take you back to it. It's like a broken record. Show me the dimes he threw against Buffalo, Philadelphia, and Kansas City. Get your films, get the all 22s, break it down to those 3 games. I don't give a shit about the other ones. Those are gimmies. Absolutely did well. What happened in those other 3 games? I've taken the all 22. I've gone through every single one of the losses and went, whoa, hey, wow, I see what they're doing. I can see what they're doing. Have you looked at the all 22s of the 3 losses and to back up those dime things? Once we get rid of Tyreek, McDaniel, Tua will ball out, bail out. Oh, you think he's gonna? Nah, he ain't gonna bail out. I guarantee you, Tua is way better than Dak Prescott. How could you possibly guarantee that? That's a fan talking. Again, that's a clap. That's applause. You love it. They're winning. That's fine. But I don't know how you could guarantee a statement like that. Tua still needs improvement. McDaniel needs to call better plays at times, like run 4th and 1. There must be, when you watch this, there must be a set of plays that he decides he wants to run at certain times. And he's going to stick with it, and that's what's worked for him. So, that's it. What's up, Frederick? How you doing, brother? Yes, everything is well. Here's Marshall again telling me I'm absurd. You sound absurd about Mike telling Tua who to throw the ball to. All quarterbacks have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd reads. By the way, how did Tua look when Tyreek went out? I'll wait. Oh, you don't have to wait long. You just stepped in some shit there, buddy. Let me tell you how he looked real quick here. Boom. Yeah, you asked. So let me tell you how he looked. This is how he looked. You ready for it? Boom. It's right here. He was 4 for 55 without Tyreek, 2 to Robbie Chosen, 3 to Salvin Ahmed, who, by the way, is hurt now, and 3 to Cedric Wilson. So, on that one drive, when Tyreek was out, what did he do on that drive? He replaced Jalen Waddle with Tyreek. I mean, the other way around. Replace Jalen Waddle with Tyreek. Dude, don't get pissed at me. I mean, you obviously haven't watched the film. If I sound absurd, that's fine. That's completely fine. I know what I'm talking about. I could bring up every one of these plays and show you. I don't know why it offends you. Hey, sorry, man, but it is what it is. In the 3 games, I'll say it one more time, and I showed it, in the Buffalo and Kansas City and Philadelphia, they shut Tyreek down, and there wasn't that extra option. How do you explain that? I'll wait. You told me you'll wait. I'll wait. Explain to me how when they shut Tyreek down in those 3 games, there wasn't an extra 2nd, and 3rd read for him to go to. Yeah. Let's talk about defense. Defense is looking badass. Completely badass. Jalen Ramsey, what a find, what a pickup. Guy's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I mean, he saved the game, saved the Dolphins' ass against the Raiders. Just think about that, too. What if Jalen Ramsey wasn't on the field against the Raiders? Not too many people talk about that. What if Jalen Ramsey wasn't there? Wasn't X getting those interceptions? Wasn't Cater getting those interceptions? It was Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey with a diving Spider-Man interception in the end zone to make sure that they didn't score to catch up. Perfect. Guy's perfect. So he's very good. My issue is he doesn't have a first read every other play. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, defense is ready for sure. The only problem with the defense is Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins were just toast at the end of the game. They were on the field so much. As one of the videos they just made, there are only 7 players in the entirety of the NFL that have played 75% or more of the defensive line snaps, and 2 of them play for the Dolphins. They're playing so much. Just remember that. They're playing in excess of 75% of the defensive snaps. That's a workload and a half. And even Vic Fangio said, it's a lot, but we don't have anybody else. That's my only concern. When you say I don't have a lot of people and your 2 guys up front that you rely on are getting worked that hard and there's still 7 games left in the season, that can be tough. Yeah, Sealer and Wilkins need some rotation. Interior pass rushers behind. They need something. I don't think you can expect that these guys are going to play 75+% of the defensive snaps the rest of the way and still be able to be efficient. Daniel said his first read is always number 10. Why not have 17 number 1? Great question. I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't change. Cap for sure said, yeah, Jets morale is down and Hill got beat last time. Wonder if they pump it up at home? I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go because how many of you are going to be watching Hard Knocks tonight? Hard Knocks, in-season Hard Knocks starts in 45 minutes tonight. It's 45 minutes. You're going to see Hard Knocks. They put out some trailers. Let me know what you guys think. I can't share those clips because of the copyright laws, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about Hard Knocks. Next time, what we may do is do Tua Tuesday later so we can talk about it and talk about it afterwards. But let me know what you think about that and what you think about. I can't, Jimbo. Why you can't watch? Oh, you may not have HBO. Okay, I got you. You may not have HBO. Yeah, that sucks. Some people don't have HBO. But I'm sure there's going to be a pirate copy within a couple of minutes before they take it down. That's for sure. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go drink some tea. Maybe like Jimbo said, throw some whiskey in it, some honey and lemon, and